Free, scary, true countryside horror stories. They say the countryside is peaceful. Wide fields, quiet roads, no neighbors for miles. But when something goes wrong out there, no one hears you scream. Tonight, these are 3 true countryside horror stories that prove isolation can be far more terrifying than the city. I grew up in a rural farming town where the nearest house was almost a mile away. At night, the fields stretched endlessly, just darkness and silence. One summer evening, around 2:13 a.m., I noticed a light moving slowly across the cornfield behind our house. At first, I thought it was a farmer checking crops, but the light didn't move like a flashlight. It hovered, drifting unnaturally low to the ground. Then it stopped, and it stayed there for hours. Around 4 a.m., my dog began growling at the back door. Low, terrified sounds I had never heard before. That's when the light started moving toward the house. Slow, deliberate. I locked every door and turned off all the lights. From my bedroom window, I watched as the glow stopped just beyond the tree line, and then that went out. The next morning, the corn in that exact path was flattened, as if something heavy had dragged itself through the field. No footprints, no tire marks. And for weeks after, my dog refused to go outside after dark. I was driving through a remote countryside road late at night. No streetlights, no phone signal, just endless trees and fog. My car suddenly stalled. I waited inside for nearly 20 minutes before I saw headlights in the distance. Relief washed over me as an old pickup truck pulled over. A man stepped out. He smiled and said, "Car Trouble, my name." My blood ran cold. I had never seen him before. I asked how he knew my name. His smile widened as he pointed at my driver's license, still inside my locked car. I hadn't shown it to him. Then he leaned closer and whispered, "You shouldn't stop out here. People disappear." Suddenly, my engine started on its own. I didn't wait. I drove off without looking back. The next day, I returned with a tow truck driver to check the area. There was no sign of a breakdown, and according to locals, no one with that truck had lived there in over 15 years. He vanished after being suspected in multiple disappearances. My uncle owned a farm deep in the countryside, far from any main road. Behind his house stood an old wooden barn that everyone avoided. At night, it made noises. Not creaking, not animals, breathing. One night, while staying over, I heard the barn door slam open. My uncle grabbed his rifle and told me to stay inside. I watched from the window as his flashlight beam shook violently. Then I heard him shout, "There's no way this is an animal." The breathing grew louder, deep, wet, and close. Suddenly, the flashlight went out. For nearly a minute, there was only silence. Then my uncle ran back inside, pale and shaking. He locked the doors and said only one thing. It was standing upright. The next morning, the barn was empty. No tracks, no animals missing. The barn was burned down 2 weeks later. My uncle refuses to talk about what he saw, and he sold the farm shortly after. The countryside may look calm in the daylight, but when the sun goes down, isolation turns into a trap. If you enjoyed these true horror stories, subscribe for more terrifying tales you won't hear anywhere else. And remember, if you're ever alone in the countryside at night, you might not be as alone as you think. Subscribe for more true horror stories that never leave you.